You could say the losers will be the ones who determine the winner in France's presidential race. Centrist Emmanuel Macron finished 3 points ahead of the far-right's Marine Le Pen in last week's first round. On paper, he's the overwhelming favorite, but critics argue he's showed way too much swagger since Sunday. After all, he won less than a quarter of the vote, and France has a two-round system where the 55% of voters whose choice won't be on the ballot May the 7th, well, they'll be the ones who make the difference. There are various shades of endorsement from Macron, between those saying they're ready to work with him and those who insist it's simply an anti-Le Pen vote. And then, of course, there are those who see no issue in rejecting both of them. One of those is the far left's Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who rejects Le Pen's identity politics, but shares her anti-globalization protectionist message, as well as her penchant for Vladimir Putin. What are the pros and cons of abstaining? Could Macron still lose? What if he wins by a narrow margin? What impact on the June legislative elections? The underreported story of the first round may be just how deep the far right has managed to establish roots and consolidate them. We'll be asking why. Today in the France 24 debate, we're looking at France's Undecided, the France 24 debate on Facebook and Twitter, the hashtag F24debate. Our panelists are certainly not losers. They're merely citizens who voted for candidates who, again, won't be on the ballot on May the 7th. Let's introduce each and every one and ask who they vote for and who they'll be voting for in the runoff. Let's begin with your member of the European Parliament from the conservative Les Républicains party, Constance Le Grip, running for a seat in the French parliamentary elections that will follow in June. Who did you vote for on April 23rd?
I voted for François Fillon.
And who will you be voting for on May the 7th?
I will probably vote for Emmanuel Macron.
Probably voting for Emmanuel Macron. Karim Bouhamran, spokesperson for the Socialist Party, welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Who did you vote for on last Sunday?
I vote for Benoît Hamon and I will vote for Emmanuel Macron with no discussion about this.
With no discussion, okay. Bruno Verken of the Christian Democratic Party, part of the conservative coalition movement on the right. Your vote last Sunday?
I vote for François Fillon.
And on May 7th?
I will not vote for Emmanuel Macron.
Does that mean you will vote for Marine Le Pen?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet, but you're considering it.
I may consider it, yeah. I would say I would vote blank if I was already, I had made up my mind, but I will not vote for Macron.
All right, we're with Charlotte Girard, a member of Jean-Luc Mélenchon's France Insoumise. We always have trouble translating it.
Just say France Insoumise.
All right, unbowed France, because we have to...
Unbound, yeah.
Or...
Unsubmissive France.
Okay. Who, you've obviously voted for Mélenchon.
Sure.
Who will you be voting for on May 7th?
Not for Madame Le Pen, for sure. But I'm not allowed to say nothing about my own opinion, because we are actually asking our
rank and file.
Yes, yes. And so we're waiting for their consulting.
So you've personally made up your mind, but you can't say?
No, because I'm...
Have you personally made... You don't have to tell us, but have you personally made up your mind?
I have made my mind, yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we'll talk a bit more...
But the only thing I can say is that there is a... Marine Le Pen is not an option for us.
Okay. Before we delve any further into this, let's give you the context of what's been going on the campaign trail. 11 days to go. Emmanuel Macron, well, really hitting the campaign trail for the first time in earnest this Wednesday, a visit to his hometown of Amiens in the north. He was there to speak to union representatives from a local Whirlpool factory that's due to move to Poland. His rival has made the northern Rust Belt her bastion. Hence, Marine Le Pen's decision, well, to spring a surprise. Charles Pellegrin has the story.
The two pictures couldn't be more different. Emmanuel Macron having a quiet meeting with a few Whirlpool union representatives just before Marine Le Pen made a stunning appearance on the picket line, mingling with a crowd of disgruntled workers.
Emmanuel Macron came here and had no intention of meeting with the employees and joining the picket line. I thought that was proof of the huge contempt he has for what the employees are going through.
The far-right leader's surprise move immediately put the centrist candidate on the back foot, having to explain why he decided not to visit the site.
I was here for over an hour with the Whirlpool union representatives. I was next to the site because the company refused to give us access. Madame Le Pen, on the other hand, is here for political ends because she's haranguing political activists in a car park.
Back on said car park, the crowd was swaying away from Macron.
We didn't want promises, we wanted his support. We didn't want him to say the plant won't close. We just wanted him to support us as fellow Amiénois, to talk about us, here's what's happening to Whirlpool, and he didn't do that.
He won't help us.
And Marine Le Pen?
I guess she has good ideas, but still, I guess I would trust her more than I trust him.
And that's when Macron took to Twitter to say that he would meet with employees at the site after all. Him and the world's press. By that point, the reception was frosty at best, and the smell of burning tires was filling the air.
Do you smell that, Mr. Macron? That's a smell of hard work. They've been waiting for you a long time here.
Yes, I came at the time I thought was right.
The candidate ended up spending an hour talking to workers, broadcasting it live on Facebook. By the time he shook their hands to say goodbye, the booze had slightly subsided.
Constance Le Grip, what do you make of what happened in Amiens today?
Sorry, I'm not a journalist. I don't want to comment what happened in Amiens, what is the campaign from Emmanuel Macron versus the campaign for Marine Le Pen. You know, I'm not a journalist. I'm observing what's going on.
Okay.
It's a very strange campaign. It's a very strange campaign. I feel absolutely sorry about what happened last Sunday, and I'm still very, very sorry. But the choice for many, many French voters is a choice between Madame Le Pen and Monsieur Macron. I don't want to comment the campaigns of the others.
It's a symbolically charged standoff place, isn't it? A factory that's due to be moved to Poland is where the two candidates clash.
It's a symbolic
Is that what
place,
this election's about? And how do you think they handled it?
Again, it's difficult for me to comment on this visit to the Whirlpool factory. I understand that they both had messages vis-à-vis the globalization
Their
of
campaign, it's not yours.
It's not our campaign.
Karim Bouamran?
Like Constance, I'm not a journalist, but I'm a politician. And I would like to comment this, what's happening in Amiens today. Why? Because I'm very worried, very, very worried. When you analyze around this table, Constance says, I will probably vote Emmanuel Macron. Charlotte will not vote for Marine Le Pen. And Mr. will probably vote for Marine Le Pen. So it's exactly the feeling that I have in the field, the background. It's not 2002 when we have 80 people who automatically vote for Jacques Chirac.
Yeah, let's just remind. Let me just remind viewers here.
Sure.
2002, the left. It was a stunning moment, shut out of the second round of the presidential election, and there was what's called the Republican Front, le Front Républicain.
Big storm.
And everybody voted. Well, 80% of the voters went for Jacques Chirac against Jean-Marie Le Pen, Marine's father.
And now people say we don't want to be fooled again. So that's why we need to be very careful. And for me, Marine Le Pen is the enemy of the Republic. So I don't want to negotiate with Macron. I don't have to have any convergence now, because we will see what we can do afterwards. But now, for the next 10 days, my only priority is to say, guys, be careful. Because I don't want that our country could be at stake because we will let Marine Le Pen win. And when you see different pictures today in Amiens, Marine Le Pen has won this game today. When you say Macron was very nervous, very, very skeptic, he's not felt very comfortable. Look at this. That's crazy. Crazy. She's like a pop star. And when you analyze what's happened in Facebook, in Twitter, I'm very, very, very anxious. So, guys, I say we don't have to play with the democracy. We need to say clearly, and that's why I'm very, very upset against Jean-Luc Mélenchon with blank, or I don't know how I like to vote. Don't vote Marine Le Pen, but maybe blank, and we need to decide. No, guys. If you are a Republican, we have no choice. We have to vote for Emmanuel Macron or against Marine Le Pen, which means no blank, no Marine Le Pen, only one vote, Macron.
Charlotte Girard, do you agree that Marine Le Pen won the public relations battle today?
You mean
against Macron at the factory?
Okay, she made a coup, you know, a very
a media coup.
A media coup. That's undeniable. But the problem is not with what she did, but with what Macron didn't, and the fact that he was like awkward. And quite nervous about, you know, speaking with employees and people who are in danger in their company at work is also a sign that he is not from this side. And this image is disastrous.
The latest opinion poll has Emmanuel Macron on a 21-point lead, a 60.5%. According to an IFOP poll that came out today. That's if the second round of the presidential election were held today. If the vote was tight, would you be agreeing with Karim?
No.
We need to consult.
Sure. Sure. The poll is not today, so it's quite, you know, it's quite
that doesn't fictitious. Wouldn't sway you either way if it was a dead heat or if Marine Le Pen was ahead.
You know, we have a different relationship with polls. Our movement is quite suspicious about polls. So we cannot reason with this kind of fear of which is the discourse, you know, today, which is she is evil, you should vote against her. We know she's evil, but we are not responsible for her being so high, you know.
François, that's not the strategy of, with all the respect due to you, Charlotte, but that's not the strategy of Jean-Luc Mélenchon to say, let's vote for Emmanuel Macron and let's vote against Marine Le Pen. Because he plays the second one. The second one for him is in the next 5 years. Because his bet is to say, okay, in the midterms, when everybody will say Macron is a bloody liberal, very conservative, he has cut some public investment, he will say, I think what he may do. What I say is, I don't agree.
It's his program.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't agree with Macron. Okay. So we are on the same page. However, we're not talking about that. We are talking about the future of our country, of our democracy, of our republic, versus someone who doesn't share at all the values of our country. That's why I'm very, 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 very upset against Jean-Luc Mélenchon.
Bruno Verken, Marine Le Pen doesn't share the values of the Republic, says Karim.
Well, if she doesn't share the value of the Republic, a movement should be forbidden. And should have been forbidden already since a long time.
And
you said it's illegal. It's not the case. But I'm not from the Front National. For me, I consider that where we stand today is an impossible choice. We have either to cut our hand or cut our leg. So for us, it's an impossible choice. Then it's not ours. We voted for other people. Yeah. Then the context compared to 2002 is very different. We have now to choose either Marine Le Pen with all the reserves and the arguments we have against, and we have also the alternative to vote for the spiritual son of the worst president of the Fifth Republic, with the lowest favorable scores and opinions in ever, between about 15. And a man who has a very fuzzy program, who says yes to everybody, who's indeed a fake of the media, and so I consider
stuff. So what about the Marine Le Pen economical program?
Yeah.
Because let's talk about Europe.
I consider that both. So that's very strong dangers. I also consider that the images of today are extremely illustrative of the situation. On the one hand, you have the wealthy people, city-based, benefiting from the globalization that voted more or less Macron. And you have the real-world people, those who work. I'm the head of working condition in a multinational group. I spend my time in those plants, okay? And the real economy world, people who suffer, and who don't want of this globalized world where everything is commoditized, starting from their job. But and that's the challenge. And
so if you're working the
French
world,
politics is totally changing.
Let's talk about the euros and the future of the euros, because your candidates want to stop with the euros, and it will be a big danger for our economies.
And,
so let's talk about that.
And we see between us two different appreciations of the danger. Our colleague from the Parti Socialist see a danger in the economy. I see a danger.
Democracy, republic, and economy.
No.
That's a link.
Front National should have been forbidden. I don't get into that. I'm not the police. Front National is still there. They have member of parliaments. They have globally. So I'm not the police. I'm not in charge of.
Read the program, and you
we
will
still have the authority of states. Okay. So there is an economic risk. So people, wealthy people, socialist people, sometimes see an economic risk if we leave the euro. My personal opinion is there is an economic risk. Putting the retirement age at 60 is just totally insane when we see the aging of population. So it should be increased progressively. But that's economic, okay? I see more a danger in the dissolution of the nation, in the dissolution of real work, Uberization of economy, where everything is commodity, and a danger also in losing the fundamentals of family. Emmanuel Macron has no opinion of the importance of families. So these are the two types of dangers. So you have the wealthy people that see an economic danger, and the poor.
Social, economical, and
there will
values of our country.
Indeed, I'm not defending. There will be certainly some blockages with Marine Le Pen.
Macron on the first round. So
today's images in Amiens are just illustrating this.
Constance Le Grip, on the picket line, Emmanuel Macron said to the workers, and they spoke for an hour. During this 1 hour where they spoke, he said, "Look, globalization is here, and I can't promise you we're going to bring your jobs back because it's just not the way it's going to work. That's not what I'm not going to promise you things that I can't deliver." What do you think of what should the politicians be telling those workers on the picket line?
Yeah, this kind of speech is not very enthusiastic, of course, and it's difficult to understand by workers suffering from the globalization, etc., and for maybe unfair competition coming even from other European countries. So I think that today, of course, some political message hasn't been very well adapted to the audience that Macron met. But
is he learning from the past mistakes? There was a famous smelter in the east of France, in Lorraine, that, well, two successive presidential candidates came to promise that it would be kept open. And of course, we know what happened. It wasn't.
Yes, it's all the difficulties of this period. It's another political and also political period that we are now discovering. And of course, it's all the difficulties for all politicians to be connected with the real concerns and the real fears of the voters of our population.
How to be connected? We have to go to a quick break.
Sure, but it's not by chance that it happened.
No,
I mean, it's the result of politics, of political choices that have been done.
And the final choice will be that of the voter. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. You're watching the France 24 debate.